I'm sure that you have heard about the great French philosopher René Descartes, who lived in the 17th century. One of his sayings has become so famous that it has been turned into an icon of modern philosophy. I think, therefore I am. In Latin, which was the language of scholarship at the time, just like English is today, cogito ergo sum. Well, there is an amusing as well as intriguing paradox in this sentence, because Descartes lived just at the very time where the scientific community began to get organized throughout the whole of Europe. By the way, the word scientist did not exist at the time. They called themselves natural philosophers. So when he says, I think, therefore I know for certain that I am, he is also implying something exactly opposite. We, the emerging community of philosophers and experimenters, are thinking collectively, trying to ascertain through experiments a whole set of new claims about what the world is made up of. Hence, the enigmatic motto we have chosen for this class, cogitamus ergo civitas sumus. Not I think, but we think, and not therefore I am, but therefore we form a group of citizens sharing more or less the same values and having more or less the same responsibilities in checking each other's claims. In this second sequence, you are going to learn how to visit this new city, this new assembly whose work is able to produce new types of certainties. Not by portraying scientists thinking alone, secluded in some ivory tower, but on the contrary, by multiplying their connection with a lot of other people and a lot of other institutions and instruments, just as we have seen last week. You will have to portray what is often called an epistemic community or a thought collective. If you have followed the instruction we gave you in sequence 1, your blog must already contain examples of this collective process of ascertaining claims about what the world is like. You must probably have recorded instances of argument that are in effect just so many claims for the existence of phenomena invisible until now. For instance, new drugs that have dangerous side effects, or maybe new planets that have been discovered around other stars, or a new study about the link between poverty and cognitive abilities, and so on and so forth. The reason that we insist on your following new claims is that it will be easier than with older ones for you to discover the collective process that might in the end ascertain them, or on the contrary, dissolve them out of existence. Once they are entrenched into the stock of a certain knowledge, it's much more difficult to detect where they came from. For instance, if I ask you what is the atomic composition of water, chances that you will answer unhesitatingly H2O. But this statement is certainly accurate. But if I then ask you, show me the proof of this statement, you will be at a loss, because it's so well ascertained that no one bothers anymore to establish it for a publication, a blog, a tweet, or a newspaper. It's settled. And if I insist, you will shrug it off and say, everyone knows that. Look for yourself in any encyclopedia. Or even more bluntly, it's part of nature. In effect, the statement has been, to use an expression from the social sciences, fully naturalized. It's part of the landscape. All traces of its production have vanished. Which of course is great. It means you don't have to bother proving it. You may safely use this statement to predict another one. You could say, for instance, since the atomic composition of water is H2O, it should be possible to invent a process that separates hydrogen from oxygen. In such a claim, the first part of a sentence, what is called the premise, is more certain than what comes next. By the way, hydrolysis is still a very hot topic. Your interlocutor is asked to concentrate on the latter part of a claim and not on the former. You have built a sort of downhill slope, directing the attention and then the movement of those you address from the nature of water to what you could do with this knowledge. We all live in such a highly differentiated landscape of argument, constantly negotiating our way through channels and valleys, across plains and carefully up and down cliffs. That's the geography we have to become familiar with by learning to map it.